Welcome to Local Game Group. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, and today we'll be discussing Starter 13 Black Yellow Luffy from the Ultra Deck, the three brothers, the other two leaders obviously being Ace and Sabo. If you want to check the deck tech for Sabo, you can find that here on the channel as well. But today we'll be discussing the strategy for Black Yellow Luffy, notable inclusions, notable exclusions, and of course getting you all some gameplay so you can see exactly how this deck functions. Now, unlike Luffy's lovable brother Sabo, who in EB01 has a ton of strategies you can play for, Luffy is really only concerned with playing with his brothers and Gecko Moria for some reason, which we'll get into, and it makes a whole lot of sense when you read into this leader's abilities. Now, before we jump into this video, guys, if you enjoy these deck profiles, please leave it with a like and let me know what you'd like to see next in the comment section down below. And also, if you have your own Black Yellow Luffy list, feel free to copy and paste that so that people can check it out also. Luffy is a 5,000 power strike attribute leader that is mixed black yellow with 4 life. With the ability, per the rules, your face-up life cards will be sent to the bottom of your deck instead of your hand. So anytime a card says put in your hand, it goes to the bottom of your deck. This is notable because there are cards that say trash your life, which will go to your trash. For 2 Dawn, activate main. Once per turn, you may discard 1 card from your hand. This doesn't have to be a brother, but it is typically a 5-cost brother. If your life is at 0, you may add 2 5-cost character cards from your hand or trash to your life face up. So even if you are deficient so far as your trash is concerned, whether someone is running that one Viola that makes you bin cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck, or you're just not hitting the brothers and they're not there and they're stuck in your hand, you can place those onto your life as well. And this isn't exclusive to brothers. If you run Satri in this list, which I don't, you could place him on top of your life. Triggers won't trigger in these instances. Also Shirahoshi, you can put that on top of your life if you just want something to stem the bleeding when your opponent swings at you. Which is hopefully something we won't have to do because there is a very definite strategy for this list that involves Gecko Moria. And we can just go over him really quick. He's at 8 for 9k. So 2 Dawn for Luffy, 8 for this. Okay, 10 Dawn turn. This sounds really cool. Choose up to 1 4 or less and 1 2 or less from your grave. Put it on the battlefield. Tapped, untapped, doesn't matter. Usually what it's going to be is one of your kid brothers. And these kid brothers have the effect of trashing themselves, just going to the grave, and then bringing out, after revealing, a 5-cost brother from your life, and that needs to be a corresponding one. So it could be a 5-cost ace, and if there are further 5-cost aces in the future in these colors, we can play with them. I think the only other one is 6. We'll see in a second. Sabo, like there's a couple of Sabos. There's a promo yellow Sabo. There's this one from the starter set. There's this 5-cost blocker, which is the best one. And then, of course, Luffy, OP07, we get a really great Luffy. We're on the Sabo for now, but I'll probably switch this out for that Luffy. Anyways, what you're looking at is an 8 for 9k, and then 2 possible 6k powers or 7k power brothers on the board with a 9k Luffy plus 2. Oh, because I had to Dawn him up twice. So he'll be swinging for 11 and he'll be 9k on the return when your opponent tries to swing at you. And then, of course, you could have swung ace at that point and you have a blocker Sabo in that instance as well. And I highly recommend, do not forget to use Luffy's ability if you have 0 life at this point against anyone who's going to kill him based off power. Blue affects that bottom cards, and then RP Law, who's a very dominant leader going into EB01, that bottoms cards is going to be painful against this list, but provided we hit all of our draw effects, search effects, we will be good. We should be stacked on brothers and have them ready to play off of Gecko Moria and off of Luffy. If I didn't explain this well, you'll hopefully see it illustrated a handful of times. I did it 3 times in one game, which was the grossest. Now, when I discuss general strategy for deck profiles in One Piece, I like to look at the Dawn curve and just talk through to turn 5 minimally. Turn 6 is usually self-explanatory in most cases. It will be dependent on what you have in that instance, but we have a very definite strategy going into the game, turn 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So turn 1, if you're on the play, which is still fine, you're really only looking for one of 3 things. Garp, Flamp, play her. Every time play her. It's only until you only have face-up life cards or no life cards do you use her as a 2k. And also, the 3 brothers bond. You want one of these 10 cards. 50 card deck, 10 cards. That's a 1 in 5 chance one of these should be in your opening hand. That's good. If we see one of these, we're happy. Or if we see a hand that just has like the ace and the port gas with a Ivankov, that is also a decent hand, but generally we're looking for the searchers, just trying to pile up our hand with the card quality effects, right? Making sure we have matching brothers going into future turns. If we're off play, even better. 2 Dawn means we can play 2 Flamps. 2 Dawn means we can play 2 Garps. You get it. You could also run out a Kazuki Hiyori if you want, being off play. I don't necessarily recommend this. It really depends on who you're going against, but sometimes people are timid to hit your life if you use Hiyori off the bat. But if they're aware of the deck, they know there aren't that many trigger playable strategies for it, like Shirahoshi in this specific build, and obviously this event as well. But this setup is risky because you'll be having to use 2Ks to stop a potential 8K swing from your opponent, right? Which we don't really want to waste. All of our 2Ks are extremely valuable on the play. I usually recommend setting up a Hiyori play, and the Hiyori play usually looks like her into 5-cost Sabo on top of life, and then you play Baby Sabo, right? That's what that should look like. And an off play, 4 Dawn turn 2, which is the perfect segue, that's a play we're looking for. If you have Hiyori on turn 2 with 4 Dawn, set that up. Give yourself 7K power and then swing, and then 7K on the return. They usually don't try to punch up that high, particularly if you have a Sabo blocker off of it. Now, one thing to note if we're on play is that turn 3, if we have Eva in the hand, is really, really good for setting up Shirahoshis. Like, this is one of my favorite strategies. It's rare that I use Ivankov to set up a brother. If I'm on turn 3, which we'll get to in a second, then yeah, obviously Ivankov, trash, put a brother on top, play a little brother, do that. If you have an on-play turn 2 Eva into Shirahoshi, play it. That this is always the play. If not, then, you know, play out your additional Flamps, Garps, Searcher events, Dawn up Luffy, swing for 8. Those are all fine strategies. My recommendation, though, is to set that up. I don't always recommend you play out the Monkey D. Luffy, the Ace, or the Sabo here, but on turn 3, that's an excellent strategy. So, turn 3, 5 Dawn, can look like Eva with a little brother, or it could just be look like you playing a Sabo. It could just be you playing Sabo. Now, up until OP07, when we get this Luffy, who is really good removal, our best form of removal right now is Sabo. And there are some things I like about Sabo more than Luffy. Namely, on a turn 3 on-play turn, this is really good. We want to get ourselves to 0 life so we can start doing the Luffy thing as soon as possible. That reluctance is there. Our opponents usually want us to have to work to get to the 0 life by playing out our own cards, which we're honestly totally fine with. It is kind of a downside to not understanding the deck. You want to swing and knock Luffy out as quickly as possible, even at the detriment of giving them cards or putting them closer, because you're asking them if they have it in those instances. But I digress. 5-cost Sabo is good, because he kills other 5-cost cards. We're in black. We could splash Great Eruptions, which is a notable exclusion. Some people like to play them. I don't find them to be useful. I want to be playing a shit ton of characters and going sideways every single turn, swinging 7 and more power at my opponent, pressuring them that way, pressuring characters that way. But there are some instances where I just need to get rid of the Queen blocker, or I just need to get rid of that Captain Kid 5-cost blocker. It's annoying. It's usually a purple blocker. Seriously, like that 4-cost Uta blocker. It kills me every time. Very annoying to deal with. This gets rid of those cards and also gets us closer to 0 life. I don't like to play this on top of my life with Luffy's effect, but having 2 of in the list is really good when I know that in a certain matchup, you know, Garp seeing this is going to be a good card for us. Now, turn 3 off play, you can be at 6 Dawn, which does mean the very possibility in certain matchups, if it's a rush list, that you could be down to 0 life. So if you are at 0 life and you have 6 Dawn, use Luffy's ability, put 2 brothers on top of your deck. In this instance, you will need the little brothers in hand, which you should have hopefully sculpted those early turns or with your mulligan and play them out. Right, so it could be an ace and a Sabo, an ace and a Luffy. In priority order, in my opinion, you really want to see the black Sabos, then you want to see the aces, and then you want to see the Luffys. The Luffys are really good for closing out games, but early on, you just want to pressure with damage or pressure characters with ace. So really, the best setup is Do 2 to life, and always in this order. Sabo's always the last card, and then ace. Play the ace, play the Sabo, give everything KO proof, carry on. Turn 4 on play feels like an awkward turn, but it's truthfully not that bad. Again, this is one of those turns where you could do the same setup we just talked about on turn 3, just a little bit later, but also you could play out very casually an Ivankov into a brother, clear the last life with a flamp, play out cards on top of your life from your trash with Luffy, do a ton of different setups. 7 is good, it's just that much further from Gecko Moria, which truthfully isn't really good on turn 4 off play. 8 Dawn. It's not usually the best choice. It's just an awkward play if you're trying to do this. You typically wait for Gecko Moria, not for the 9 Dawn turn 5 turn, the 10 Dawn turn 6 turn if you are on play, or hopefully off play in this instance, where you get to 10 Dawn before your opponent, slam Gecko, slam 2 brothers, and just start going to the races. Which leads us to turn 4, 8 Dawn. Again, all the same setups that we just talked about you can do now. You can even just play just play Shirahoshi and like an Eva, and that's a good turn, right? If you have any life at this point, you can put that card on top of your deck. And what's really cool about Eva, remember when I said if it goes to your hand, it goes to the bottom of your deck if it's face up. But if for some reason you are able to do the 2 brothers on top of your deck, you can trash one, goes right back to your trash, put something on top of your life face down, which means you get the trigger again, right? It needs to be a character. Your opponent does see the character. And if it's Shirahoshi, great. So if my 8 Dawn turn was a Shirahoshi Eva, here's another Shirahoshi on top of my life face down. Enjoy all the card draw, right? Like if you're not hitting the brothers, and that's why she's here, right? That's why she's here. Honestly, that's the best part of the Sabo. The KO proof, obviously very good in today's meta, EB01, but you need the effects that let you draw. There was a time where I was playing this list with 4-cost Khalifa, Black Khalifa, if you don't know what she does, good level reduction, right? Really good in tandem with the Sabo, but also draw 2, trash 2. Like you just need the filtering sometimes, but this is enough with the searchers. Turn 5, 9 Dawn turn, I don't think we need to talk about. It's literally all the same things we've been discussing, but on 10 Dawn, it's that strategy we talked about early on, the play line with Gecko Moria. Just shoot that out if you got it. I mean, there's some games where you brick, honestly, and I've tried to put the right number of cards in this list to curb that, but still, sometimes you brick. If it happens, it happens. But ideally, you'll be putting 2 brothers on top of your life, playing 2 little brothers off of Gecko Moria, and again, just slamming your opponent. That's what you want to do with 10 Dawn from here on out. Let's talk about some notable inclusions. Maki no was played up until Flamp. Flamp replaces Maki no. Just screw Maki no. She's not good. I'm sorry. This is going to cause many a dislike. I don't find Maki no to be a good card. We can look at her notable exclusions in a second, but once you have Flamp put in the deck, I've got a whole bunch of EB01 here. Immediately put her in the deck. That was just a whole bunch of spare rares from EB01. Thank goodness I pulled so many Flamps. So friends, if you need them, let me know. They go in the deck. They go in the deck along with Kazuki Hiyori. Those are the only 2 KCs you need. Truthfully, when you have a leader that's 7k or 9k consistently, a 1k in hand is practically as good as a 2k if you're doing a good job of blitzing them every single turn. Trust me, it will be enough. At least in the games I've played, that's been enough math for me. There aren't that many no KCs in this list. Flamp is amazing. Play her. Replace the Makinos. Forget about the Makinos. Shirahoshi. Some people play 4, some people play none, some people play 2. I think if you're going to run Shirahoshi, you should have an even amount of Evas. Eva's really good for setup plays with your brothers and just having a blocker on the back end. But if you're running Eva, you should run Shirahoshi and vice versa. They're both notable inclusions, and I'll mention them in the same breath here because they're really meant for each other. Draw 3, trash 2 is outstanding. This is still some of the best draw we've seen in the game. Obviously, if it's in your life and you hit it, amazing, except for off of her, then it kind of hurts, but it's still okay. If you have Eva, you can set this up for later. Just let your opponent indulge you and drawing 3 cards and then trashing 2 5-cost brothers. Perfect. This is exactly what we want. The 5-cost Sabo is a notable inclusion. Some people like to exclude him. The list without him, if you notice, doesn't have any hard removal. And I just can't get behind that. There are instances where you just need the removal. Slamming, 7, 9k bodies at your opponent can only get you so far to a certain point against blocker heavy list. And there aren't that many decks that run that many blockers. Maybe you'll find a red-green law that just slams blockers, or some of those Rocinante lists that slam a lot of blockers. And then obviously have an 8-cost kid out there as well. Uta, green Uta will slam a lot of blockers. For those lists, this is really good. It's just going to ensure that you get past the pesky blockers and get to the targets you actually want to hit. 8-cost kid can be a kryptonite sometimes, but you should be able to slam kid. This whole deck just wants to slam. So far as notable exclusions are concerned, the list is short. Again, most of these decks are bug standard. A lot of us are playing with the same cards because they just functionally work really well with Black Yellow Luffy. But Great Eruption is something that people like to throw in. It's good card quality, right? So you lose a card and effectively draw a card. You can level reduce, which is good for any of your KO effects. I think in OPO7 with that Yellow Luffy, it's kind of essential because hitting 4 and under is kind of ass compared to hitting a 5-cost. That's a majority of the really good cards in this game. This helps you get there. I don't like it in this deck because I want to slam bodies. The trigger off of this is actually okay. Like when you hit this, you're not going to deny it, right? You'll definitely want to make your opponent trash if it means your combat math is that much better on your crackback. But Great Eruption, not in my list. I see people run 2 sometimes. I don't think it's essential, especially with the lack of KO in the deck. The next 2 notable exclusions are both in yellow, and they're both 2k counters. One is 5-cost Satori. This feels like a shoo-in for the list. A lot of people like to run it. It's sometimes 2 of, sometimes 4 of. I don't like to go crazy on the 2k blockers in this list. I'm more about consistently hitting my brothers than I am worrying about my opponent swinging at me. However, this is really good. If you hit it off life, if you want to set it up with Eva, it's just another card that's really good. The having to trash a card isn't that much of a detriment because it's usually going to be one of your 5-cost brothers. Great, it's there for Luffy later. I don't think we need this kind of firepower in the deck, and otherwise I see it as just a 2kc. I will say there are flex spots in the deck. Like if you want to take out the Eva and Shirahoshi package, there's 6 slots you can fill up with all Satoris, just not all 6, but have a play set if you want. Or you can take up the 5-cost Sabo. Again, I know a lot of people just don't like to run them. This is another piece of firepower that you can add to your arsenal. I think that trashing a life and killing a 5-cost is a little bit better than this, but that's up to you. And some people, they swear by at least having 10 to 12 2k counters. Again, for this list, I feel like it's not necessary, but if you feel it's necessary, put those Satoris in here. I think it makes sense. Okay, I've been trash talking her quite a bit. She is fine. Okay, she's fine. She's a 1-cost, so it's very flexible with some play lines, depending on how much Dawn you're rocking. But I don't like this card as much as I like Kazuki Hiyori or Flamp, and I don't think we need this many 2KCs. You add it to your hand, so up until your life cards are face up, they'll go to your hand, right? Otherwise, they would get trashed per Luffy, and you get to organize your life cards. It's cute. It's nice knowing what is in your life, but I'm burning through my life so quickly that I'm going to find out in a matter of turns. So late game, she's not as useful, right? For me, the better setup is just having Flamp into an Eva, right? So I do Eva, I trash the top of my life. Again, sometimes you have to do this. Trash the top of my life, I'll put a card face down on top of my life, and then I'll use Flamp to go ahead and draw that and then draw an additional card, right? Just giving myself firepower. It's just better in my opinion. Obviously, Satori would be better in that situation because that way you can just get your 2k counter back and then use Flamp to draw an additional card, right? So that way you're not losing a 2k counter in the exchange, where a Makino is just, she's kind of useless at that point. And Kazuki Hiyori, she flat out becomes a 2k counter. Late game, right? Eva and her doing practically the same thing in that instance, and you don't need the redundancy in this particular play line. You don't need the redundancy of Eva face down Hiyori from my hand. You put the thing there that you likely wanted there from your hand. And on that note, I think it's time for us to get a few games in. Mirror matches are always fun. Let's see if we can slam this other Luffy deck. But yeah, we're going to get at least a handful of games in for you guys so we can see how our deck behaves. This looked okay. They chose to go second, so I like seeing the flamp right off the bat. This gets us right where we need to be. Those draws were excellent. Pass to you, sir. Mirror matches always are just very, very big slugfest in who hits the best range of cards. Again, we're using practically the same thing. If they don't have a play here, that's really sad. Or if they play a kid brother, that's really sad, but we'll see what happens. Makino, of course it was. All right, set up your life, son. Set it up. About to swing 8 into it. Hope you're not playing Shirahoshi. Okay, they run the Searcher event. Very, very cool. I've got nothing better to do, sadly. That's just the hand I was dealt. So we're going to slam 8 into this fool, see if he takes it. Probably should, honestly. Unless he was trying to set up for a brother play, which would be hilarious. This is where Makino gets you. Like, if this is like a 5-cost brother off the top of life, I feel bad. Okay. Oh, he put the search event on top. Curious. He took a while to figure out whether he wanted to take that or not. Maybe he forgot like the placement of cards, but that's wise. Hopefully this is like a brother for him on top, and then he can slam me for that. And that's really the benefit of Makino. But again, like, she's not putting shit there. If it's just there, then good for you. I'm sorry. I'm still trash talking her. I just don't like Makino in the deck. Okay, we get a Garp. By the way, so far as the Searcher's hits are concerned, they've gotten a Starter 13 Sabo and an OPO4, the Blocker Sabo. I think they have 2 Blocker Sabos. Ooh, I get my own taste of 8. Hopefully I get something good to play. Not a damn thing. Okay. Oh, boys. Oh, boys. So there's 2 ways we can tackle this. I mean, I think it's just going to have to be this. Like, let them get to their brother play first, I suppose, which kind of hurts. I mean, hopefully they counter out here. That would be fantastic. I mean, me personally, I'd probably just take this and get set up. We're going to run out Ace, though. It's the only thing that doesn't have counter power in my hand. So, cool. Cool. Ace. Swing it. Take. Thank you. Trigger? Did Makino see them all? Okay. Here's another thing about the list that you'll learn. You don't really care if your brothers die. Again, it's really more important that they don't just get bottomed by a Sakazuki list or anything running blue. Having your brothers bottomed really sucks, but sometimes you won't have the corresponding little bro to big bro. Ooh, another tasty Garp. We haven't hit a single Garp. That's okay, though. We're going to hit them later when they're irrelevant. Trust me. I would rather pull, at this point, Gecko Moria. He who gets the Gecko Moria first usually has the better go of this game. So really, really hoping we swing into one right here. Could have just risked it with these little bros, honestly. You gonna go here? So in this moment, like, I do kind of want to keep it alive because I've got shit all to do. But I mean, we could technically play out this 5-cost Sabo and kill this Ace as well, and then trash the top of our life. But it puts us in a real shit position if we do that. So here it does make a little bit more sense to just drop. Let's see. We're gonna drop one of the Luffys because we only have one Luffy in hand. We could have dropped a 5-cost as well. That probably was more advisable, but hey, don't worry about it. All right, so far as this turn's concerned, I think we just want to go 9 into this sucker and then play a 5-cost blocker Sabo, right? Like, we could do this fine. Go to 0 life. Oh, thank God. Okay, this is good. Yes. I mean, they might not have the gas either because shit, I'm trying to get there. Trust me. I might even want to play Shirahoshi at this point. Shit, do I just play Shirahoshi? I'm not lying. That's a definite play we can do. Okay, let's go, Shirahoshi. Let's see if it bites us in the ass. I just want to hit my Gecko Moria so bad. Oh, okay, no Gecko. Let's do one Sabo, and let's do one of these Luffys. We'll keep the 5-cost yellow Sabo. Of course we hit Eva off of the Shirahoshi here. Yeah, it's the worst. Probably more advisable to do 5-cost blocker Sabo, but just let me have my fun, okay? So far as raw effects and searchers are concerned, right? So they've definitely hit more than we have. I'm just hoping that they saw 8-cost geckos in those piles that had to go to the bottom of their deck. But odds are unlikely that they're that screwed. This could be it, folks. This could be where we have messed up. Let's find out. I mean, if they're wise, they'll just put the ace, blitz me with that, and then they'll also hit me with another brother, right? So like ace Sabo. I guess their Sabo's going to kill. Well, that would be really interesting if they use yellow Sabo to kill ace in just that and only have a 7k body. I'm so curious to see what they do. They discarded a little bro. From their hand, they put a 5-cost blocker Sabo. Sure. 2 blocker Sabos. Okay. We're probably going to get both of them now, I hope, for their sake. And they just want to kill my ace? Do you have the other brother? Oh, no. Okay. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I saw you search a million times. You had to have hit the other brother. But this is good. You can kill ace in this instance. That's fine. You'll see why it's okay in just a second. Okay. Draw. Done. All right, so we have 1 ace, 1 Luffy, and 1 Sabo in our grave, and a dream. All right, so what we're going to do is probably set up an EVA play. So if you do the math, we go down to 6 Dawn here, and that's enough for 3 brothers or 2 Luffy and brothers. So what we're going to do is this. We'll trash the top. Little bro. To the top, because we have everything, we'll want to set up this last, so let's just play out... I mean, honestly, I kind of want to throw this down, but I don't have a good way to do that right now. Yet. We could just play the Luffy, and then we'll do this. Play this. We'll do this now. It's not relevant, but we'll do it now. We'll Dawn up Luffy twice. Use the ability. We'll pitch our... Because everything's KO proof, we'll pitch our... this sucker right here, I think. I don't think we need another blocker, do we? Potentially. So in this instance, it's honestly cleanest to just go ace, then Sabo, and then play out Sabo from the top, which, I mean, I guess we have to do. So let's do that. Deploy the boy. Still no Gecko Morias, and we've dug a lot. Again, like, this is what I'm talking about. This is how you brick. I really want to just play the Sabo out, but we can get it later. We'll swing with Luffy. They'll have to ditch a card or lose one of their Sabos, which is practically a better choice. I've got 2 blockers too, though. Yeah, it's dead. Okay, cool. I'll pass with that. If they have Gecko Moria, I'm not going to say that it's game over for us, but it's close. Again, he who gets to Gecko Moria first is always in a better position, but I don't know. I've got an ace, 1 ace, a dream. Hopefully they also bricked and just didn't hit the magical play line, but I feel like they'd be running their turn out a whole lot faster if they did. I certainly would. So what's nice is even if they play it out a rush ace, right, like this sucker, it can't do too much to me. Okay, 2 blockers. So going into this turn, they're going to have a rusher. I think they've just got little bros. Or this has to be Gecko. Please tell me you have Gecko. I want to see someone do it at least. There you go. What? Okay, this definitely shouldn't have taken that long. This is what you want to do, though. You should have the little bros for this. Replace the Garps, replace the Flamps at this moment. I might need to double down on Sabo going into next turn, honestly. So... like, we'll probably block with the Sabo just to get Sabo out of my freaking life. So if we do this, right, we block with Sabo, we're able to, 1, procure the ace, and then stack up 2 Sabos, play both Sabos out, which is just what we have to do now. Okay. I guess he's trying to threaten a blocker or something with the ace. Maybe he forgot how... Luffy works, but we definitely want to recur the Sabo going into next turn, so do it. Okay, unless we hit Gecko here magically, which would be really cool off the top of deck. So let's do some math together. If I were to play ace, that's 2k, double sabo, 2k, 2k, I will be swinging 11 plus 2. I'll be swinging 13k at lead. You tell me which is better. Right now, arguably, this. All right. Now we do this. Trash one card from our hand. The Garp. Fuck you, dude. Why are you so late? All right. And now we can actually like do another ace if we wanted to because we have the blockers, but double blocker is not bad. We can be a little bitch boy. Yeah, why not? Or if we have two blockers and we peg this ace. Huh. Let's do that. Okay. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit here. But what I want to do is this. So this gives me just a little bit more leverage going into next turn. We're going to ditch that Luffy. So right now we can swing 8k into this ace. We can swing 9k into this ace. My opponent said, oh my god, X Games mode. Dude, you really got me with that. So this Luffy's got 9k on him. Technically, we can swing. We can swing out at him and try to knock him out here. This is 8k. I think we just do 8k into this Sabo and like lose some of their board. That's really the best thing we can do right here. They obviously can get it back. That's fine. At this moment, like if they do happen to block though, right? What I want to do is ram some of these Sabos. Like that would be really cool, but I don't know. We'll see. One of these Sabos is going to have to go sideways, but if one of them goes sideways for this, then we have two. Okay. This is even better. So what we can do now is just throw 7 at it. Let's do this. Right? Do they lose more firepower? Cool. Right, and they need to get rid of a Sabo at this point. So they have 3 attackers going into next turn. I have 2 blockers. Let's see if it works. This has been an interesting game. I like this player. I usually cover up the commentary because there are some colorful comments that come through. You can also mute the chat, but sometimes the opponent has something integral to say. If they top decked 8-cost Gecko, incredible. Okay, they didn't, thank God. Yeah, so this is like what I just did is sort of a magical, mythical play. Gecko is usually what you want to do, but when you have the setup, like you just have something in life that you know you can play out with a little brother in hand, do that. Because if you're looking at the math, he needs to roll 11 at me. We can't counter out of this, so we're going to do this. He needs to put 5 Dawn on the Sabo, or Dawn up the rest of the way with Luffy, right? I don't think it happens. I think I did my math well. My non-math. So we block with Sabo. Okay, so, I mean, I think we do this. He's got the Sabo. We know the Sabo will die here, but he needs to block with the Sabo. Let's do... It really doesn't matter at this point. Like, let's just do this. What's cool is that you know, all of these go to the bottom of his deck at this point, so like he wants to sustain them, maybe. It sucks that he only had 1 card in hand though, because he could have gotten another blocker out. This guy. He's just making so many meme jokes right now. What do I have in my grave? I've got another Rusher. And I've got the baby boys for him. Okay, let's just do this. We'll swing here, 7k. We'll swing here, 7k. Okay, we'll do this. We'll trash a card. I just want to illustrate the things you can do with this deck, people. I just want to illustrate the things you can do with this deck. All right, we'll get the little baby boy out, and then we'll get this other baby boy out. This is, yes, maybe just a little excessive, but let me have my fun, damn it. And then we'll do that, and we'll do that, and then we'll do this. GG's! I like to try to get at least 3 full games in. If someone quits, I'll typically play a little bit longer, but this is a keepable hand. Let's keep this. If someone quits, I'll play another game, but let's try to get 3 games in at least. But it was cool seeing a mirror match, so you guys can see how this performs against another Luffy deck. Again, it's who can hit the better combos first. We just happen to get there. Okama Way, there's some new shit for this list I just don't know about, but we'll discover it as we go along. These purple-yellow Crocs are going up in value, namely because people are like really enjoying the new cards for this guy. So he's going to have a lot of events for us. Hopefully not too many, but we'll get there. Love it. I want it. Give me all of it. Interesting. Okay, so we don't have jack shit to do with this turn, sadly. Sadly, I'd play that Shirahoshi if I could. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna swing here for 5. I like the Shirahoshi. Sadly, my deck doesn't run any KO effects beyond the 5-cost Sabo, so he's not gonna... she's never gonna die that way. I'm sorry, bro. Okay, cool. Pass. Yellow doesn't really have many playable rushers, so I'm not too concerned about that. This is interesting. I guess he's sort of just trying to bide his time here. This is the only notable blocker on the board right now. She can get really, really frustrating with all of the events this deck runs. So poisonally, yeah, we're going to do this shit. Just shit can her. Sorry, bud. And I would do it again. I can do it again, actually. What? I forgot you were there, Sabo. 2 of my 2 were in hand. Amazing. Wow, he's just hitting all the girls. A lineup of Shirahoshis. They are really good. It just depends on what your opponent has. Oh, Gadatsu? Gadatsu. I can do that too, bro. Here, let's do that. That looks fun. Let's do the Gadatsu play. Ah. Gadatsu, by the way. You're gonna have to let them go eventually, I guess. All right. I'm sorry, guy. I mean, he probably has like, 8-cost Crocodile or something. He'll regain life. I feel like they're usually good at staving off damage late game. With all of the life gain in yellow, and of course 8-cost Crocodile, who's amazing, right? It's just neither of these 2 leaders were very strong, either the blue-purple Croc from OP01 or this OP04 Croc, but they're a little bit better now. These are not cards he wants to be playing right now, I'll tell you that. I want to take that last life. You should go here. Yeah, okay. Okay, draw, done. This is awkward. We don't have really anything. We don't really have anything. We don't have anything to take this last life off. Like 5-cost Luffy is good for that as well if you're really forced to do that. But we could just play out, right? We can play Gecko Moria into Garp and Shirahoshi and then play out here. I'll just show you. We'll play the Garp and the Shirahoshi this way. Shirahoshi, Hiyori, Kizuki Hiyori, excuse me. Okay, I'll take the counter power in this instance, although the aces will be good going into the late game. Do I be greedy here? We don't have that much counter power in hand is why I'm saying this. Let's not be greedy. Let's take the Luffy. I think we actively need the counter power. We will use her ability, take the top of life. Cool. We're going to play out the blocker Sabo this way, and then we play Sabo, use Sabo, and there you go. So we were still able to get there, just kind of roundabout way of doing it. At this point, the Shirahoshi's dead to me. All right. Go ahead and block. Go ahead and block, bro. Okay, cool. You got it. So they technically attack with these. That could be bad for me. I could lose here, depending on how he plays his cards. But you'll also notice that I'm about to discard a lot of things here. Like a lot. I've also got a lot of attackers going in the next turn. I think having 2 blocker Sabos online wouldn't be bad, though, going in the next turn. So we'll see. Sure. I will let that go. No, I kind of want that as an attacker. Yeah. I don't know. I'm about to have 2 more brothers online and another Gecko, so like, it does need to die eventually. Sure. Now that I think about it, it might have been advisable to discard some cards there. Yeah, because I don't have any little brothers to play out of my grave. I totally forgot. So yeah, no blockers, but let's go ahead and discard. I know we want to play blocker, Sabo, and Ace, so we'll do this. And I think I have a little Sabo in there, right? Yeah, that's good. Okay, resolve. Whoops. Yeah, don't make that mistake. Don't be like me. Don't do what I did. So we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll trash a card. We want the blocker Sabo, but again, we have no, we don't have a blocker Sabo in there. Okay, so we need to trash that. Always at the bottom, and then you put the ace on top. Then we'll play Gecko Moria. Do the whole thing again. So we're gonna play out the ace and the Sabo. Do the ace first. Do Sabo next. Trash some cards, the Luffy, and one of these Evas. We shouldn't need it. Start with the low attacks first. He's got some event, something to tap something down, maybe. This is where the Okama way is really good. So like he can redirect the attack to Kikunojo, and like that just has to be the case. But that's, you know, hardly the end of the world for us. If it happens, which it probably will, then he'll get a life, and that's cool for him. Which is probably what he wants to do. Okay. This can be detrimental. It's based off of character power, and we have 2 Gecko Morias, so I'm kind of in a bad spot here. We'll see. I have 2 blockers online, though, and they're both KO proof. There's Okama way. He just pulled Okama way. Okay. Right, so we need to we want to replay these Sabos, so that's why, you know, I kept all these little brothers. Like I'm ready to just keep doing them. So yeah, you can swing Kikunojo with 3, and that's pretty much it. You could probably go over as well. I'll probably let both blocker Sabos die, though, frankly. Yeah, sure. This is a good play, right? The Crocodile into the... He might want to just save for events. We'll see. The deck is doing the do, though. I'm glad you guys are getting to see it. Like, we've had some good luck with the deck so far, I think, personally. Again, at this point, we can just let go of the Ivankov. No. Oops. Trash the Eva. And then we'll go blocker into blocker. And then we'll play this. And then we'll play this. And then we'll do this. And then we'll ditch the other blocker, and we'll ditch one of the boys. Do this, play that. We'll ditch the other blocker, and we'll ditch one of the boys. It's going to be Luffy. Luffy, again, is usually like one of our exit strategies, I guess. So I'm aware he can redirect the attack. Okay. Okay. So you can redirect this. And then I'm going to have 2 more 11k swinging at him. So gain your life, unless it's a beige off the top, which it could very well be, which would suck. But yes, this is where you do the Okama way thing. Okay, cool. All right, so boop, boop. Probably don't even need to do that, frankly, but making a point here. Because we only had 1 card in hand. Oh, this is another Okama way. This is amazing luck on his part. He probably has 2. You gain a life. Okay. 7 cost Lin. That's not bad either. Oh, okay. I feel good about that. Oh my god, they were all stacked. Look at that. All right, one final game for you guys. That was an interesting one. The mirror match of, obviously always interesting. This is a tricky little bitch. I don't like this hand, so we're gonna mulligan this. Hopefully we find something better. This is better. Okay. There aren't enough Gordons in the world to stop the amount of power we're going to put online. I do want to find some of my brothers first here, and then we can flamp out. We're probably going to get pegged pretty hard, pretty fast from this deck, so I'm a little bit more reluctant to flamp out if I don't have clear lines of play. And right now, I just have a Luffy set up and no ace, right? So depending on what they do, Normally they'll run up their Dawn before, like they'll get to 5 or 7 Dawn before they ever start going neg. But we'll take this. Okay. Kazuki Hiyori would be pretty sweet right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really want to take this, so I won't, but we'll do so by pitching this Luffy. Next turn, we're going to slam this Zoro. Just get it out of the way. I don't want to have to deal with that. We could go 7 into it, and he can do 2, and we'll have to do, like... I want to do at least 1 flamp. But just based off of how they're playing right now, I feel like it's safer to just get 1 flamp off and not get blitzed too hard here. Let's see what we get. To be honest, I'm even reluctant to do this, but let's just go for it. Okay, that's not bad. If we don't die here, which is a very real possibility, then we should be good going to the next turns. Like, any blocker I play is going to definitely get bottomed. We're really relying on the strength of Luffy moving forward to keep us alive. Bottom one of the flamps, bro. Power reduce it first. Just use the Gordon on this. Use the max on this, trust me. Okay, yeah. We're not going to make it this easy for them, especially because we have Hiyori in hand. I feel comfortable. I want to be able to just play this blocker, even though it will get bottomed immediately. So many freaking Luffys. One good thing to do against this deck is to just starve them out. You want to... This is Kryptonite for this list, which is annoying. Probably going to see another one in a second. But you want to starve them out, so like not hitting their life early isn't a bad thing. This is really just looking for our like 5-cost ace or our Gecko Moria, which you might just get in a second, bro. We've got the ace play, though. I don't mind doing that. He has 2 attackers on me, though. This doesn't feel great. I don't think it's appropriate to Hiyori into ace at this moment. I do think that we could probably get away with like putting the blocker and forcing him to remove it. And then that's maybe all I want to do with this turn. We'll need the counter power going forward. I don't want to start getting pressured by the Shureya yet. I want him to die later. And I'm also just doing this for card quality, but we're going to put the ace there and the other ace there. We don't need them yet. And I'll pass. 4 cards in hand. Again, let's just keep starving him out, work his board. He should go sideways. Okay. Right. So, which one you want to do first? You don't think I have a Onami in this list? Okay, 8K's pretty big. We can take 8K. He'll swing for what? Potentially 6. This is the most powerful thing that's going to swing at us at this turn. So I'm fine taking this. Like, there's no... Ooh, that's good. Right, so now let's get rid of some little brothers is what I'm thinking. Okay, so here we can loose the Hiyori, or the Flamp, really, and then, like, the little bro. Too many damn Luffys. That could be one Max, right? That could be a Max or a Gordon, right? So he can play the Gordon and then bottom it and then swing at me, right? He might be, right. He might be thinking that this is a way he can close out the game. Hopefully, I would love that. It just means I don't get to swing the brunt of my forces at him. Huh, okay. Let's see here. So I've got a really good attack for you. Block with Shureya. Use a counter. Flamp. She's really not just there for that effect. She's really good. Oh, thank God. She's really good in this setup. Okay, so we're going to do this. We'll trash 1 card. It's going to be an ace. And we'll put the... I don't have a little baby Sabo, I don't think, sadly. So it's got to be the ace and the Luffy, which is rather annoying. But it is what it is. So we'll do this. We'll go ace. Deploy the ace. And we will go Luffy. Deploy the Luffy. And before I forget, just like always do this against this matchup. You just need you need to do that rather annoyingly. But I wasn't expecting 2K counters to come my way from that. That's okay though. We'll do this. Between the two, this 100%. We can play out Baby Luffy, which I think is fine. Do I need the counter power? Let's see here. To swing 9k at me, he just needs to add 3 Dawn to this. He's at 5 Dawn. We might need the counter power, sadly, so I'll end my turn. This matchup, man. That's Shiraya. The fact that he had to lose 2Ks, though, was perfect. Like, I really don't mind that. I honestly think it was a bad play protecting the whatever. Yeah, no blockers. We're going to lose this, 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 and this. Swing at the flamp. Don't disrespect the flamp. If he disrespects the flamp again, I'm gonna kill this Bond Clay. Play out your blocker. What is it? Just play it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Damn it, my flamp strategy's gone. So the only issue here is that I don't have little brothers for Sabo in my grave at all. At all. Like, that's insane, and sometimes it happens. So we could very well lose here because of that, and that just happens. So where I would really like to get, you know, Sabo, obviously, I can't. So what we can do, though, is just leave something in our life, kill this, and then at least get 2 things to rush his board minimally, which is kind of good. So we've got the Baby Luffy's here are going to be a little bit better. Like, we don't need to threaten his life quite yet, but at least 1 Luffy, 1 ace, then 1 hit on life is fine. So let's just do that. And again, this is really risky because we have to do this. Man, Gecko Moria just feels like a bad play, but we have to give ourselves some life here, sadly. So do we have, actually, let's see what we have in our grave before we actually commit to anything. But I do think we put the ace, and we put the ace on top of life. That's fine. Now we'll do this. If there were a blocker, maybe the blocker would be advisable, but oh, you know what? We don't even have 2 aces in the grave. I miscalculated. That's okay though, because we definitely need the extra life. So this will be good moving forward. Although it is the one that we should put in the other way. Oh boy, all the mistakes were made. That's okay. Yeah, he wins the game here, I think, right? So he can swing 7k, and then he can swing 8k. So yeah, you get it. You definitely get this one. Well, I mean, we'll see what he does. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Wait, do I win? That feels like a mistake. Kill this Luffy at least. Oh my god. I mean, we're just gonna be gaining life. That's it. Okay. Shiraya. Okay. Cool. There's Sabo. Thank God. Is it late now? No, it's never too late. Let's give myself a blocker. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. It doesn't even work. That's okay. We're gonna do this and Shirahoshi. You know, maybe we'll get lucky. We're just gonna kill this sucker. Okay. Okay. I don't see why I do anything else with this turn. Right? Like, we can put 1 damage on him and then maybe pass? Sure. Right? I just want these bodies to attack later. This is harder to kill between the two, but I need to get 3 consecutive hits off. We'll see what happens. He really could have got me last turn. Oh my gosh. That was a game where it went very poorly for us. Like that's not what you want to see. Again, this is the thing I've been talking about, though. Consistency with this deck. You can brick. You saw me play extremely well X Games mode the first game. Second game was like par for the course. That's what you generally want to do. This was a brick. Like, I was not seeing the brothers. Things were getting bottomed. I definitely made mistakes on my own part, but they made a major one with that last play. Pretty sure they could have just swung 7 and then swung 8 at me to kill me because I didn't have any blockers, right? Because they had... I don't know. I'll have to roll the tape back and see it again, but I felt like they had it on board. Oh my god, Luffy, thank you. Thank you, Luffy. And that is it for the Luffy deck profile and gameplay. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I was on the edge of my seat. That last game, that was so ridiculous. But we did it, guys. That's how you make mistakes with Luffy. When you're playing in paper, those mistakes are harder to make just because things are locked in mechanically when you do them on the sim. So, by the way, OPTCG Sim, shout out. You guys do. You do a great job, Batsu. I don't know if anyone else is on your team. But yeah, if you have your own deck for Black Yellow Luffy, feel free to share it in the comment section down below. I'd love to see what you guys are playing with and, of course, have that conversation with you. I'm all about making a better list, and we can talk about Luffy going to OP07 or any other deck that you want to tackle on the channel for an EB01 meta, OP07 meta, and OP08 in the not too distant future. But guys, I'm Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, and for more coverage on One Piece, stay subscribed to Local Game Group. Damn, that was good. Luffy, baby! That's my boy! God, I love this deck. It's so fun. Ah.